We're just 67 days away from the presidential and parliamentary elections in 2024. Hello and welcome to Joy News Prime. We're live on DSTV channel 42 and GoTV channel 125, all social media platforms and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up this hour, organized labor has declared a nationwide strike effective October 10, 2024 to protest government's inaction in the fight against galamsey.
Following the expiration of our deadline and the failure of government to meet our demands on illegal mining, that is galamsey, organized labor has decided to declare a nationwide strike with effect from October 10th, 2024.
Also tonight, main opposition National Democratic Congress left standing alone with the PPP as 7 other political parties joined the governing MPP to back the Electoral Commission after it presented detailed evidence of the work it has done so far to clean the voters' register.
So in auditing, this will be classified as immaterial. So no auditor will spend time to work on that.
We have the latest as the NDC comments the EC, but demands more, including a forensic audit of the EC's entire IT system.
When your roof is leaking, you can decide to mop, keep mopping, and keep mopping. This forensic audit is not just about the register.
So what next for the NDC? Plans the historic announcement by the EC chairperson on future IPAC meetings. Also, the Education Ministry in a make-or-break meeting with striking education sector unions over non-payment of Tier 2 pension deductions. Details as hundreds of teachers protest against government demanding resolution to their long-standing issues, including unpaid arrears and salary disparities.
But all that we know is that the time will come. And those who have had the opportunity to be promoted, their benefits has to be paid to them so that they can enjoy when they go on retirement.
We have a lot more coming up at 8 p.m. Now, a majority of Ghanaian workers may not show up for work starting October 10, 2024. That's because the organized labor has declared a nationwide strike. The group explains its decision is driven by the failure of government to meet its ultimatum of halting all forms of mining in forest reserves across the country. TUC, a couple of days, tabled 3 demands, including the immediate evacuation of all mining equipment in forest reserves and around water bodies, plus the deployment of the police and the military with full orders to remove and destroy all mining equipment and other earth-moving equipment around river bodies and in the forest reserves. However, after a week, organized labor says the government has failed to act and has therefore resolved to withdraw their services effective October 10, 2024. Blessed Soga has the rest of the story.
As activities of illegal mining continue to ravage major river bodies in Ghana, the Trades Union Congress says it is unhappy with government's failure to crack down on illegal mining. As a result, worker unions under the umbrella body have resolved to lay down their tools effective October 10.
Organized labor met at an emergency meeting today, October 1st, 2024. Following the expiration of our deadline and the failure of government to meet our demands on illegal mining, that is galamsey, organized labor has decided to declare a nationwide strike with effect from October 10th, 2024.
In an earlier release to the press, organized labor tabled 3 demands, including, quote, an immediate declaration of a state of emergency in line with provisions of the 1992 Constitution, and also the need to halt all forms of mining, legal or illegal, in forest reserves around water bodies. It is unclear if government will yield to the demands of the group, but it is likely that workers may remain at home until their concerns are resolved. Let us go for Joy News, Accra.
Well, let's just stay in the labor front because Ghana's education sector is under strain as several unions in the sector are on strike, demanding that government pays their Tier 2 pension deductions as well as interest payment on these deductions done in the past. This has compelled the Education Ministry to convene an emergency make-or-break meeting with the unions. Details of this meeting shortly, but first, hundreds of teachers marched through the street of Accra demanding resolution of long-standing issues, including unpaid arrears and salary disparities. Despite raising these concerns repeatedly, the teachers say no action has been taken by authorities, leading them to protest the government's 13-month delay in settling arrears under the Tier 2 pension scheme. The following report has more.
Hundreds of members of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, GNAT, marched through Accra protesting the government delays in paying their 13-month arrears under the Tier 2 pension scheme. The protest began at Obrasport and ended at Independence Square, aiming to highlight their grievances and push for action from the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, and the government. Peter Boateng, the protest convener, called for urgent intervention. The minister met us yesterday, but we informed him that it was too late for us to revoke our protest. We have given him an ultimatum to work on our demands. After this deadline, we shall advise ourselves if he fails to address them. The GNAT group was established before the NPP and NDC came, and we are not affiliating ourselves with any political party. This protest, therefore, represents all of us.
Because NAT Kuono, eba 1931, Sabrina MPP Mai, na NDC Nsumbai, MPP, NDC Aba Oko, MPP Aba, Ebi Ononso Beko, but NAT, and I teach for yet what in the Yanya politics. A year here, members, no, and Yaku.
NAT head of compensation and benefits, Isaac Ba, echoed the call for swift resolution.
The Tier 2, as we explained, constitutes 5% of the teacher's salary. That one is paid by the teacher. It is not paid by government or the employer. It is the teacher's meager salary already. That 5% of it is being set aside for a better future. Unfortunately, we regret exceedingly to say that for 13 good months, these allowances have been deducted, but they have not been given to the appropriate officers for investment. So by extension, we are saying that all those teachers who have had to retire within that period, your guess will be as right as mine. The third one has to do with delays in promotion, placement, and upgrading of teachers. Many of our members, particularly those nearing retirement, are due for various forms of promotion. But all that we know is that the time will come. And those who have had the opportunity to be promoted, their benefits has to be paid to them so that they can enjoy when they go on retirement. We don't have them. And a clear case in point has to do with the deputy directors of education, most of whom have had to match time. I don't know if the Ghana Police Service in future will recruit them because they've matched for long.
In response, Ministry of Education PRO Kwesi Kwarteng, who received the petition on behalf of Minister Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, promised the ministry would deal with their concerns in earnest.
Just like he's initiated the process of resolving all the concerns that has been raised, he's going to fast-track it and make sure that all the concerns that you raised are well addressed. So we are grateful for such a peaceful protest, and we are very hopeful that all the issues that you have raised will be addressed as a matter of urgency.
The teachers' union are, however, waiting to see how the ministry will address these concerns so they can return to the classrooms. Stephen Mensah's report, read to you.
Well, let's do more on this by speaking to the Greater Accra Regional GNAT Chairman, Peter Boateng. Peter, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, the ministry says they will attend to your petition and your request with urgency. What's the level of trust in the statement by the ministry? Peter, kindly unmute so we can hear what you're telling us. Peter Boateng is the greater.
Yes.
Okay, good. I can hear you now. So your reaction to the ministry promising to deal with your issues. Peter, we seem to be having challenges, but can you unmute so we can hear what you're telling us?
Okay. Are you? Is it clear now?
Very.
Okay. So what I was saying is that I'm so grateful to the leadership of GNAT and then the membership, the rank and file, all those who came to support us in today's program.
Okay.
Yes, we are very much convinced with what ministers, the person who received our petition told us. Because we had been in a meeting almost all the time yesterday with the minister in his office. And the minister spent a good time with us, moving back and forth on how best we could look at the issues that we were raising. But unfortunately, we could not hearken to his demand because it was too late for us to call our members to the effect that we were not going to have the demonstration. So per what we put before the minister and the assurances as given, because yesterday the documents were shown to us to the effect of specifically that of the retirement, the deprived community allowances, all those things, as we saw them, were indicative of the fact that efforts have been made. And so by adding up to what we put before the world today, we are very much hopeful that we hope to receive something positive.
Okay. And so what does this mean? That you won't press on with the actions you are taking to ensure that things run smoothly because of what they're telling you?
Oh no. We are going to press on because once we have given this petition containing the issues affecting us to the minister, it now behoves on us to make conscious efforts at meeting them from time to time to see how we are progressing day after day. Because it has to do with they also getting to the appropriate authorities to ensure that where do we have to play a role. Because if you look at the deprived community allowances, we are looking at which community becomes identified or designated as a deprived community.
Okay.
We do not have that mandate to do, but then we need to liaise with the ministry, with Ghana Education Service, with all the necessary stakeholders to be able to understand that as of now, we understand and clearly admit that this area is designated as deprived. For that matter, all those there will have to take it. And at what time? So a lot more will have to be done, and that will have to do with our continuous negotiation and interactions while we work towards this particular issue. Yeah.
And when you say you saw that efforts are being made, is it that they are paying into your account, or what exactly are they doing?
Well, it has not hit the accounts for now. What is happening is that the efforts, we looked at one, and let me comment the Ministry of Education, and for that matter, the Ghana Education Service. You know, we have what we call the Continuous Professional Development Allowance, which was non-existent in the teaching profession. But last year, when we began taking it, we had 1,200 cedis for every teacher as a pre-tertiary teacher, as a form of incentive to help us do more of research to be able to do our work. This year, through the negotiation, we had a 100% increment, which makes it up to 2,400. So that is commendable. But then we are looking at certain issues which are so prevalent. For instance, those who are suffering from reactivation. Reactivation under normal circumstances should not go beyond a month.
Okay.
That is to say, if a teacher has an issue with his salary, and then I did not cause it, I was working at primary A, you transfer me to primary B, or I have gone for further studies, I'm coming back. My salary through one's errors has ceased. If it gets seized, do I have to suffer for 6 months, 7 months?
All right, Paul.
So these ones will mean that we need to be very tactful in dealing with it by getting the appropriate statistics to be able to put before them and make sure that those teachers also get their pay.
Paul, I'm grateful to you. Let's now cross-check with the meeting that the Education Ministry was having with the striking education sector unions, and I've been joined by Senator Sandy Kumi Senator. He's a UCC chapter president of Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana. Kumi, I'm grateful to you for joining. What is the latest that you're picking from this meeting with the minister?
Yes, good evening, my brother Kudu, and let me use the opportunity to greet your cherished viewers. Yes, the meeting with the minister has ended. Okay. It has been a long one, but unfortunately, as we served notice from the onset, that all that we want is resolution and not promises, big promises that are not being backed by actions. And exactly that's what the leadership of senior staff has done. Okay. We have met the ministry or the minister and we have discussed the issues dispassionately. However, it has ended inconclusive, and hopefully tomorrow afternoon we will meet again to see if both parties can reach an amicable solution.
Okay.
As it stands now, our strike remains on course, and the meeting with the ministry ended inconclusively.
Why? What was government saying in answering to your demands?
Yes, as I indicated earlier, we served notice before entering into the meeting that we believe that having reached agreement with government, it is incumbent on government to enforce the agreement as being reached. And for that reason, we don't see why we should negotiate again, or any amount of negotiation that will not bring the issues into its request will not be granted.
Okay.
For that reason, negotiating with us again, vis-a-vis what has been done in the past, an agreement has been signed to that effect without enforcement, we think we cannot go by that.
Okay, all right. Senator, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, in a related development, Minister of Education Yao Sayed-Duchum has urged students in vocational and technical institutions to maximize the use of the resources provided to them. Now, he emphasized that the government is committed to equipping such schools with necessary tools and materials to help students become exemplary citizens. His remarks came during a presentation of artifacts by students from the Accra Technical Training Center.
The intersection between TVET and STEM. The intervention between TVET and STEM is to really produce hands-on, minds-on students. He can do something hands-on, but he can also research and design and innovate and bring about things that can help society. We have started the Gifted and Talented Education Program meant for children like this. I know many times you send us videos and say, what are we doing for these children? And this is a very good start as to what we can do. All we need to do is to support them. 10 years from now, we want them to tell a different story of how they began and where they are. Obviously, they are following what is called the 10,000-hour rule, how people became heroes, famous people by starting early. We can't ask them to wait till the university to become engineers. If they start early on, by the time they get to the university, they are not there to first to study engineering first, and they are there to innovate. And that is what Gifted and Talented Education is about.
Now, away from that, the opposition National Democratic Congress is left standing alone with only the Progressive People's Party backing its call for a forensic audit of the voters' register and IT system of the Electoral Commission. 8 registered political parties, including the governing NPP, have all been giving thumbs up to the EC after it announced measures it had taken to resolve discrepancies in the voters' register ahead of the crucial 2024 election. It will be recalled that following the admission by the EC that 8 officers had illegally transferred voters in Pusiga, the NDC claimed to have identified even more discrepancies to anchor their demand for a forensic audit. In a historic IPAC meeting broadcast live, the EC announced a raft of measures it had taken to clean up the register. Kweku Asante of our Political Affairs Desk now reports.
Dr. Yao Forieje, Director of IT at the Electoral Commission, isolated the specific allegations and claims that have been made against the Electoral Commission by the NDC and responded to them separately. According to him, the Electoral Commission has specifically dealt with all the challenges that the NDC raised, and in particular, some of them are just spurious.
In our minds, we can't see how you can delete somebody by transferring them, because transfers are allowed. So you can't delete somebody by transferring them. I also like to say that the way the voter management system is designed, and indeed ABIS, once you get registered onto the system, we went on further and looked at the transaction history of the particular voter within our database. By 2020, at 10:19 a.m., at the True Vine Preparatory School, JHS, Niboyman, with polling station number C150704. This gentleman, on the 22nd of October 2020, at 4:35 p.m., registered for special voting and was moved to the Achimota College Police Station, C1502 SPS. That is a special police station that he registered for.
But the NDC came in forcefully, according to Dr. Edward Omane-Boama, who is the NDC's Director of Elections and IT. The Electoral Commission has simply shown itself not trustworthy enough.
When your roof is leaking, you can decide to mop, keep mopping, and keep mopping. Or you can decide to fix the leakage and mop. What we see here is mopping and mopping and mopping. Fixing the leakage is missing. This forensic audit is not just about the register. When you have fixed the register, and I will demonstrate to you how, as a result of our revelations, some aftermath fixing is providing a semblance of we are fixing it. When you fix it, and we all look at the hard copies, and we are all giving the PVR, the soft copies. In November, if the very criminals that got us here are still there, engaged in illegal transfers, we will come back to square one.
The New Patriotic Party, represented by the General Secretary, a former national chairman, and the Director of Elections, all had their bite. But the substantive argument that was made by the NPP was that they raised similar issues in 2015. The NDC did not support them. And in fact, they've also gone through these claims that have been made by the NDC, and they have simply no legs to stand on.
It's not a question about having a leaking roof and mopping your floor. It's about the data, what you presented to the Electoral Commission. The whole people of Ghana want to see it. And that is the comment APC made, that even the request for forensic audit is needless at this point, because we are yet to see those allegations that you are talking about. And the Electoral Commission has said that they are going to furnish us with the cleanup that they have done. So, Madam Chair, we also want to know from you when we can have the revised exercise that you have done, so that we can also have another look. It is afterward that if there is a need for us to convey again, then the issues that you are talking about, we can even think about or even consider.
Some of the political parties did support the NDC's call for a forensic audit, others did not.
I feel that an independent audit will rather boost the credibility and image of the voter register. Because just imagine if an independent auditor comes and says, well, the register is 100% clean. That one, it is not the EC saying it. Because what Dr. Ufori said, I mean, the presentation is nice, but it is the EC speaking.
So in auditing, this will be classified as immaterial. So no auditor will spend time to work on that because it's immaterial. There's no problem asking for a forensic audit. But the problem here is that we are only holding a provisional voter register. And that allows for correction and allows for updates.
I don't know what it is.
Electoral Commission Chairperson Madam Jean Mensah has been assuring that the Commission will always keep transparency as its watchdog and ensure that in the lead up to the 2024 general election, there will be enough for persons to know that the Electoral Commission is trustworthy.
The Commission felt that it was in our interest to demystify the Commission and to remove the cloaks of secrecy that had hitherto shrouded our operations. And so today, from A to Z, from registration to the declaration of results, all our processes are open to the public. And that is the beauty of our democracy.
She has also been announcing that in the coming days, the Electoral Commission will allow journalists in to witness and record IPAC proceedings.
As part of the Commission's efforts to ensure transparency and accountability in all its processes, we have decided that this meeting and all subsequent IPAC meetings will be covered by the media.
As we know now, the NDC is scheduled to have some high-level meetings to decide on their next line of action. The NDC says it is keeping all its cards on the table, and this will include protest. According to Dr. Doromani Boama, the Electoral Commission's word cannot be taken for it, and that is why they are going to have a meeting and decide whether or not this call for a forensic audit will be modified, as the Electoral Commission and others have been calling, or they will keep at it with barely 60 days to the 2024 general election. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Alisa Hotel, Accra.
Well, let's do more on this by speaking to political scientist Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining. Now, the EC had asked all political parties who had issues to bring the evidence and present to the gathering. The NDC didn't do that. After today, do they still have a case to call for a forensic audit? Dr. Asante.
Hello.
Yeah, Doc. I'm trying to find out from you whether, having failed to present any evidence at the IPAC today, does the NDC still have a case to call for a forensic audit of the voters' register?
I must say that I did not follow closely what transpired. Is it a case that the NDC did not present anything?
No, they didn't present anything. They just commented on the presentation by the Electoral Commission, asking that, well, Electoral Commission says it is doing something, but they believe that more should be done, and therefore they are even calling for the auditing of their IT infrastructure, you know.
I think that it is about time the NDC handed whatever they have in mind or they have under their feet to the Electoral Commission, for the Commission to do the needful, after which, when they realize that all has not been addressed, then they can take up the challenge. Because, you see, much as I agree with them that you need to have a register that is clean, if you claim you have an information, they said now they've opened the forum, you ask for journalists to be present, they have, allowed that. So whatever information, I think that it is also incumbent upon them to also make it available. If all is done and the EC, there are still problems, then you can trigger another process. But you can't hold on to the information and then say that do A, B, C, D, and all that. Then I think there is a missing link. So I think NDC must go back to their drawing board and then look at the issue, and then we see the best that can come out of it. After all, all that they want is that a registration, a list of voters, which is devoid of any irregularity that will undermine the credibility of the election. I agree. But that when you are also making such cases, you must think of what give and take, so that at the end of the day, your position doesn't become a very difficult position. And that is the way about what negotiation and all that. My little worry about the whole issue also is the fact that how has the EC been able to address the problem of where there was, I think, one person or two who also tempered with them, and then they I think they are dealing with a case or whatever they have sacked the system. For me, that is another major area that I am not clear in my mind of the EC what to do or what the EC has done related to that, because it gives me cause for worry. Because if that place can be manipulated by somebody sitting elsewhere, then it gives a lot of work headache. And that must be fixed at this problem.
All right. I'm grateful to you for joining us, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. This is still Joy News Prime. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. Welcome back. from the break. Let's do election headquarters now, and that is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountant, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountant, also by the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. Now, MPP flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has pledged to establish agricultural mechanization centers in every district across the country to boost farmers' productivity. Speaking during his campaign tour of the Sefwi also traditional area, Dr. Bawumia compared these proposed centers to the DRIP project introduced by the Akufo-Addo administration.
Every district piano. Sana maybe here for agricultural equipment. Every district here, Benya District Agri Mechanization Center. Not tractors, every equipment, every district, sir,
He also highlighted the medical drone delivery service initiated by the NPP government, emphasizing that Ghana remains the global leader in this technology.
We set up 6 medical drone delivery centers for Ghana. Bako was Sefwi also Eddie Mojane a drone because Oko Ifomana will walk Kawa, Uhia anti-snake serum immediately. Drone no bit me adiafa abreo. Na sa ishisheno yedi abano amagana sese we are singing now. Yakofa free America baha, but we are singing now the whole world. Ghana is the leading medical drone delivery service in the whole world.
Now to the camp on the NDC now, where the flag bearer John Dramani Mahama was seen falling to his knees with his hands held up high as a group of influential men and women of God offered prayers for him. The symbolic act took place during the engagement between John Mahama and the clergy. The former president also took questions from the clergy on how he intends to implement his manifesto promises. Kenneth Jesse monitored the event in our reports.
The gathering brought together a diverse group of religious leaders from various Christian denominations, united in offering spiritual support for John Mahama's political ambition. The prayer session was filled with passionate supplications for divine wisdom, strength and guidance for the former president as he seeks to once again lead the nation.
Who died, laid in the grave, and arose triumphantly on the 3rd day, even by the covenant and the eternal covenant of the blood. We declare together that this is established.
And now we make a declaration in the power of the name Jesus, that whom God has blessed, nobody can curse.
Former President John Mahama also engaged in a dialogue with the clergy, where he addressed various questions about his manifesto promises and how he intends to implement them if elected.
I'll hold a national economic dialogue to discuss the state of the economy in the interest of transparency and consensus building. To address the country's high unemployment and low productivity crisis, we have suggested a 24-hour economic policy to encourage and support businesses and public organizations to operate 24/7 in 3 shifts of 8 hours each. Participating businesses in the 24-hour economic program will be given tax incentives, financing support, cheaper electricity, access to credit, and security and safety support to reduce their costs and increase their productivity and thereby enhance their competitiveness.
Among the clergymen was President Akufo-Addo's pastor, Reverend Owusu Bempah.
I'd like to welcome my good friend, Reverend Owusu Bempah.
Ohunam nyina nyankopo. Dia wode na dom oman Ghana na obedi oman anim.
ebre ti sei etumi bi antimi nsia no kwan enam ne so oman ebekọ n'anim enne ena wahye enne ena waka watintim no ewo oman akonya kese so ewo Yesu din mu amen.
Reverend Sam Kranchi Ankra, Reverend Obofo, and other influential members of the clergy were also spotted at the event.
A total of 157 schools are gearing up to battle it out for academic glory at the 2024 edition of the National Science and Maths Quiz competition, as the competition heads to Ghana's citadel of education in the Central Region for the first time. The national competition is set to commence on October 14 with a preliminary stage seeing 130 participating schools. Speaking at the launch of the 2024 edition, Managing Director of Primetime Limited, Nana Ekia Mensa Bonsu, revealed that this year's contest has the highest number of participating schools ever, making it a brainfest of epic proportions.
Started the regional qualifiers in, we did June, May, June, and July. That's when we had our qualifiers and our championships. Yeah. And then we have some new schools that have qualified this year.
What are those new schools?
Umase, Sirigu, Presby SHS Bompata, and I think Kufieje and Sewa Nyaku girls. So we are saying hello to them for the first time. We have 8 private schools also participating. So this year we have the largest number that we've ever had at the national championship. Wow. 157 schools at the national championship. That's a whole lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So I'm sure that the schools are poised. Oh, by the way, we have good news. Accra Girls has qualified this time. They haven't been at the national championships for a while, maybe about 8 years or something like that. And
Presbyterian Boys Secondary School are the reigning champions and are more than ready to defend their title. They are all set to show why they're still the school to beat.
We are thankful to God, first of all, for giving us the trophy and giving us life. We are also very confident with this competition, even as it's fast approaching, and we are confident that the Lord is going to take us through. Yes, please.
You sure this year you're taking the championship once again?
Yes.
Are you sure this year? What are we expecting from you guys?
I suggest that you expect the best, because there's a God that we serve, and we know that He will not disappoint us. We know that He will not fail us. He has given us a victory, not once, but twice, and we are believing that this will be the 3rd time He will give us the victory.
For Prosec, you always prepare for this competition. I hope you get it. And the issue is that we really serve a nice God. As you know, this year we are going to take our 9th trophy.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, yes, I'm very, very sure.
Okay, you're watching?
Oh, yes, of course. We are going to win this year too. We are still on our preparation. We are going into the competition with everything we get. We have gotten, I hope you get it. And the issue is that we see every contest as a final. Okay. Yes, we don't see any of the schools to be a small school or anything at all. So we always prepare for it.
Well, all your schools should get ready for when Badubonso Senior High Technical School will make it to the finals, and we will be there to support. But it's not time to see which school will win. But we'll take a break to bring you showbiz to stay. Well, you know what? When it's this time, you welcome one of Ghana's most favorite on television, and that's Becky right here. Hi, Becky. How are you?
Right.
Oh, yeah, and I love the name.
Thank you.
Oh, and I love your lash.
Thank you.
I'll pay for it.
Can you see the lash?
I can.
All right, let's go straight to the news. Idris Elba has signed on to headline the National Film Authority of Ghana's second annual Africa Cinema Summit, set to run from October 7 to 10 in Accra. Elba, a Golden Globe winner and chairman of the IE7 and the Akona Group, is joined on the top billing by former Netflix executive and co-founder of Juno Studios, Fiona Lamte, and Andrew Kofi Ejapa-Mensah, Ghana's Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture. The summit will once again take place at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel in Accra. The theme will be, quote, the relevance of cinema in African communities. Organizers have said speakers will debate the current surge in local content production and consumption, ways of advocating for cinema investment, and how to reimagine the cinema experiences from Africa's undeserved lower-income audiences. Representatives from African countries, including Morocco, Namibia, Nigeria, Rwanda, and Angola, are set to attend alongside executives from throughout the African diaspora and reps from investment bodies. Away from Idris, musician Amarado has asserted that even though musicians are influential in causing social change, it takes more than songs to curb illegal mining in Ghana. Speaking on Showbiz A to Z, he said someone with power must take the responsibility of making sure the menace popularly known as galamsey is stopped. According to him, some musicians have done songs on galamsey, but effecting the desired change should come from the leaders of the country.
So just yesterday on Joy Prime, KMJ hosted some of us and we're talking about this whole galamsey thing and how some celebrities are being bashed for not taking part. And I was saying that I know some of them have released songs, like Stoneboy has Greedy Men. Yeah. Kofi Kinata has done a song about illegal mining also. Yeah. But if you go and check the number of views or streams of those songs to their party songs, Musica also did one in 2018.
Yes, I think there were a lot of artists on it.
Yes. In 2018, it was in collaboration with Arusha Ghana. I remember that one as well. But the thing is, just as you just mentioned, the ordinary Ghanaian on the street wants to listen to maybe a party song, a love song. Yeah. So if you are not streaming and supporting the song on social change.
Okay, so Kwame, not to cut you off. Doing the music about galamsey would only create awareness, but who is taking the action? After the song, what next? Who is taking the action for us to be able to stop that galamsey we are talking about? We can do the songs. The songs can travel all over Ghana, wherever the world, but who is taking the action? Who is in charge of making sure that all these things are being stopped?
Yeah.
And the musician is not in that position. I can do the song for you.
People can
but are they listening? Are people ready to?
The leaders.
Are they ready?
So that interview was done on Power FM in New York, 105.1 FM. Yeah. Coming to you. And we're here at the Joy News studio. Brought you the news from the Fanufa Street. Do we still call it Fanufa? Yeah, it's still Fanufa.
All right.
But please brush your teeth this evening. When you wake up tomorrow morning